34. The Demon King's plotting entraps Mind Monkey. The great sage, ever adroit, wangles the treasures. We were telling you about those two little fiends who took the specious gourd in their hands and, for some time, fought to examine it. Raising their heads, they suddenly discovered that Pilgrim had vanished. "Elder brother," said Wily Worm. "Even an immortal would lie. He said that after we had exchanged our treasures he would enlighten us to become immortals. Why did he leave without even telling us?" Sly Devil said. "When you tally up the score, we are the ones who have by far the greater gain. Why worry about his leaving? Give me the gourd. Let me store up heaven just for practice." He indeed tossed the gourd up into the air, but it plopped down again immediately. "Why doesn't it work?" asked a startled Wily Worm. Could it be that Pilgrim Sun had changed into a false immortal and used a specious gourd to trade off our real one? "Don't talk nonsense," said Sly Devil. "Pilgrim Sun is pinned down by those 3 mountains. How could he come out? Give it to me again. Let me recite those few words of the spell he said and see if it will store up heaven." Again the fiend tossed the gourd up into the air, crying, "If there is but half a no, we shall ascend to the Divine Mist's Hall and start a war." Before he had even finished saying that, the thing plopped down again. "It doesn't work. It doesn't work," shrieked the little fiends. "It's got to be a fake." As they were clamoring like this, the great sage Sun saw and heard everything in midair. Fearing that they might learn the truth if they played with the thing too long, he shook his body and retrieved the piece of hair that had been changed into the gourd. The 2 fiends were left with 4 empty hands. "Brother," said Sly Devil, "give me the gourd. You were holding it," said Wily Worm. "My God! How come it disappeared?" They searched madly on the ground and in the bushes. They stuck their hands into their sleeves and slapped their waists. But there was nothing to be found. Stupefied, the 2 fiends mumbled, "What shall we do? What shall we do? The great king at the time gave us the treasures and told us to capture Pilgrim Sun. Not only have we not caught Pilgrim Sun, but we have even lost the treasures now. How dare we go back to give our report? We will simply be beaten to death. What shall we do? What shall we do?" After a while, Wily Worm said, "We'd better go." "Where?" asked Sly Devil. "Never mind where," said Wily Worm. "If we go back and say that we have no treasures, we will lose our lives for sure." Sly Devil said, "Don't run away, let's go back instead. The second great king is ordinarily quite good to you. I'll put a little blame on you. If he is in the mood to be somewhat lenient, our lives may be spared. If not, we'll at least be beaten to death at home, but we won't be left dangling here. Let's go. Let's go." After they had discussed the matter, the fiends began their walk back to their mountain. When Pilgrim in midair saw them leaving, he shook his body again and changed into a fly to follow them. If he changed into a fly, you might ask, where did he put those treasures? If he left them by the road, or even if he hid them in the grass, people could pick them up if they saw them, and all his efforts would have been in vain. No, he had to take them with him, carrying the treasures on his body. But a fly is no bigger than the size of a pea. How could he carry them? The treasures, you see, were just like his golden hooped rod. They were also called compliant Buddha treasures. They would transform according to the size of the body. They could become large or small, and that was why even a tiny body like a fly could hold them. With a buzz, Pilgrim thus flew down and steadfastly followed the fiends till in no time they reached the cave. The 2 head demons were sitting there and drinking wine when the little fiends faced them and knelt down. Pilgrim alighted on the door frame and listened. "Great kings," said the little fiends. "Have you returned?" said the second demon, putting down his cup. "Yes," said the little fiends. "Have you caught Pilgrim Sun?" he asked again. The little fiends began to kowtow, not daring to make a sound. The old demon asked again, but they did not dare reply. All they did was to kowtow. Questioned again and again, they finally prostrated themselves on the ground and said, "Please pardon your little ones for the crime of 10,000 deaths. Please pardon your little ones for the crime of 10,000 deaths." When we took the treasures and reached the middle of the mountain, we ran into an immortal from Penglai Mountain. He inquired where we were going, and we told him that we were going to catch Pilgrim Sun. When the immortal heard this, he said that he, too, was mad at Pilgrim Sun and wanted to give us assistance. We told him that there was no need for his assistance and explained how our treasures could store up humans. That immortal also had a gourd most capable of storing up heaven. Moved by vain hopes and illicit desires, we thought we should exchange our treasures, which could only store up people, with his, which could store up heaven. Originally, we wanted to exchange gourd for gourd, but Wily Worm decided to make good the deal by adding the pure vase. We had no idea that his immortal object could not be touched by the hands of the profane. Just as we were experimenting with it, it disappeared completely with the man, too. We beseech you to pardon our mortal offense. When the old demon heard this, he was so aroused that he bellowed thunderously, "Undone! Undone! This has to be Pilgrim Sun, who masqueraded himself as an immortal to dupe them. That ape has great magic powers and vast acquaintances. I don't know which clumsy deity has let him out, and he has wangled our treasures." The second demon said, "Don't be so angry, elder brother. I didn't expect that apehead to be so insolent. If he has the ability, he can escape, and that's all right. Why did he have to wangle our treasures? If I don't catch him, I'll never be a monster on this road to the west." "How will you catch him?" asked the old demon. The second demon said, "We have 5 treasures. 2 are gone, but we still have 3 others. We must make certain that Pilgrim Sun will be caught by one of these." "Which 3 do we have now?" asked the old demon. "I still have with me the sword of the 7 stars and the palm leaf fan," said the second demon. "But the yellow gold rope is kept at the Crush Dragon Cave of the Crush Dragon Mountain, the place of our aged mother. We should now send 2 little fiends to invite mother to come to dine on the Tang monk's flesh, and tell her at the same time to bring that yellow gold rope to capture Pilgrim Sun." The old demon said, "Whom should we send?" "Not these useless creatures," said the second demon, and then he shouted to them, "Get up! Lucky! Lucky!" said the 2 of them. We were neither beaten nor scolded. We are let go, just like that. The demon said, "Ask Hill Pawing Tiger and Sea Lolling Dragon, who often accompany me, to come here." The 2 little fiends arrived and knelt down. "You must be careful," instructed the second demon. "We shall be careful," they replied. "You too must be cautious." "Yes, we shall be cautious," they replied. "Do you know where the old madam's home is?" asked the second demon again. "Yes, we do," they replied. "If you do, get there quickly, and when you reach her house, inform her reverently that she is invited to come here to dine on the flesh of the Tang monk. Tell her also to bring along the yellow gold rope, in order that we may catch Pilgrim Sun." The 2 little fiends obeyed and raced out of the cave. They did not know that Pilgrim on one side had heard everything clearly. Stretching his wings, he flew out of the cave, caught up with Hill Pawing Tiger, and landed on his body. After they had gone for 2 or 3 miles, he was about to slay them when he thought to himself, "To kill them is hardly difficult, but that old madam of theirs has the yellow gold rope, and I don't know where she lives. Let me question them a bit first before I slaughter them. Dear Pilgrim." He darted away with a buzz and allowed the little fiends to walk ahead for about 100 steps. Then with one shake of his body, he also changed into a little monster wearing a foxskin cap and a tigerskin kilt hitched up to the waist. Running up to them, he said, "You on the road, wait for me." Turning around, Sea Lolling Dragon asked, "Where did you come from?" "Dear brother," said Pilgrim, You can't even recognize someone from the same clan. You are not in our clan," said the little fiend. "What do you mean?" said Pilgrim. "Take another look. You don't look familiar at all," said the little fiend. "We haven't met before." "Indeed," said Pilgrim. "You have never seen me. I belong to the external division." The little fiend said, "I haven't met any officer from the external division at all. Where are you going?" Pilgrim said, "The great king told you to invite old madam to dine on the flesh of the Tang monk, as well as to bring along the yellow gold rope to capture Pilgrim's son. But he fears that the two of you would not walk fast enough, and your love of play would delay this important enterprise. That's why he sent me along also to tell you to hurry." When the little fiends saw that his words went straight to the bottom of the truth, they did not suspect anything, thinking instead that Pilgrim indeed was a member of the same clan. Hurriedly, they sprinted forward for 8 or 9 miles. "We have run too fast," said Pilgrim. "How far have we gone since we left home?" "About 16 miles," said the little fiend. Pilgrim said, "How much farther do we have to go?" Pointing with his finger, Sea Lolling Dragon said, "Inside the dark forest up ahead, that's it." Pilgrim raised his head and saw a large dark forest not far away, and he figured that the old fiend had to be within that vicinity. He stood still, allowing the other 2 little fiends to proceed. Then he caught up with them and gave them a swiping blow with the iron rod.